Okay, today we are going to discuss the next chapter of under human resource department management, development of human resources. Okay, as so far we completed the fundamentals of human resource management, and with that connection, now we are seeing to development of human resources. Development of human resources also a part of human resource department. As far as human resource department is a part of HRM. As we saw earlier in the last class, HRM is the complete aspects of the total aspects of a particular person, whereas HRD is focusing on only human resource skills. Human resource skills. So, as far as development concerns, the skills to be updated, the knowledge to be updated, and also behavior. Skills, knowledge, behavior. These three are the different aspects to cover a particular person to become or to make an effective resource in the organization, HRD focusing. So, in this chapter, in the introduction part, now we are going to see different concepts like what is human resource development and what are its subsystems, and then what is the meaning of attitude, what is the meaning of training and development, and finally career planning. So, these the different concepts we just cover under development of human behavior, human resource development. Okay. With respect of these considerations, we just focusing again skills, knowledge, behavior. Okay. There is no limit there is no endpoint of particular skill to perform a particular task by an employee. How better the employee working well, still there is a chance for upgradation of the techniques. For application of the techniques to find out a job or to working for getting a maximum progress, we just have a knowledge of thoroughly. So, for knowledge point of view also, there is no end point for the limited knowledge. Knowledge is never ends. And also behavior. Whatever the performance we exhibited, it is in the form of behavior. There is no benchmark for a separate consideration of the behavior. Okay, how much we are exhibiting our behavior well, still there is a chance for betterment of our behavior. Okay, so whatever the performance we exhibited, this is actual behavior, but as per the knowledge of organizational human resource department concerns, we just performing standard behavior. So, the journey towards actual to standard is the upgradation of the behavior. Actual knowledge to standard knowledge is also a journey of human resource development. Actual skills to standard skills is also a journey of human resource development. So, in particular that point of view, these are the concepts we are learning. Okay. In coming to the introduction part, once and right now. The focus of HRM in two different manners. Once the human resource employees, the human resources are treating as a factor of production. A factor of production. So, because of the factor of production, there the complete human resources focusing on their activities only. But right now, from perspective of factors of production to now we are focusing human resource. Our human resource department is a separate resource department. So, here we consider along with the activities, now we measure satisfaction. Okay. Earlier, based upon the factor of production, based upon the concentration of activities, we just go for profit with the help of productivity, whereas in the perspective of resources, whereas we considered or we measured the satisfaction, now also we focusing on the high productivity profits. Okay, the concept is same, but the way of approaching towards the development of human resources is different. Earlier, we just considered as one of the factors of the production, but right now it is the major resource for entire growth of the organization. Okay, this perspective of view, now we are going to go for different subsystems and also HRD. Okay, this is overall introduction. There are three aspects to be developed, which is focusing on particularly human resource, which considered a subsystem or a part of the human resource management. Okay, human resource management covers all the aspects of all the activities of human resources, whereas human resource development considers only a person, skills, knowledge, attitude in the sense behavior. Okay. Now we are going to see HRD as we treated as a separate system under human resource management, and also we go to the focus its subsystems also. Okay, as far as HR management, as far as HRD considers 3 point of views which will be developed under human resource development. The first one is acquire and sharpen of skills of present job. Under which circumstances the human resources are going to be recruited, that particular task we consider as present job, the present job role performance to be increased by application of the skills, knowledge, whatever. Okay, and also sharpen the knowledge to adaptability for future jobs also. That means the first point we consider for entire job performance. And coming to second one, whatever the job, irrespective of the job activities also, the general improvement of the human beings, the general improvement of an employee also considers for, which is a subsystem of human resource development. And also the third point is organizational culture, how an employer as well as employee coordinating each other, cooperating with each other, how to mingle employer and employee relations. ER means employer, EE means employee. How these people mingle together, how authority flows, how responsibility discharges, how the coordination, extending their coordination, extending their cooperation, everything is a part of the culture. If culture is good, the relations are good. If culture is worse, the relations are worse. If relations are worse, dissatisfaction is entertained, which will leads to losses. But whereas the culture is good, that is a part of subsystem. For development of HRD, optimum means we just sharpen the skills, acquire the knowledge of employees as much as better, as much as we can. And general capabilities, whatever the activity with respect of job or out of the job, the suitable technology, the suitable techniques to be adaptable by the employee. This is general capabilities. And also cultural aspects. If culture is good, capabilities are acquired properly. If capabilities are generally acquired means already the job performance already increased. Job, out of the job, entire culture. These are the three parameters we cover under the subsystems of human resource development. All these three related to human resources only, nothing more than that, because it is a part of human resource development. Human resource development is a part of human resource management. Okay, I hope you could understand. Okay, now with the continuation of the earlier topic, now we are going to discuss a separate specific goals of HRD. Okay, in the connection of last class, just once we observing these points, it is completely the part of the HRD. First, develop the capabilities of a specific employee. Develop the capabilities of a specific employee, and then develop the capabilities of employee to mingle in the teams and also enhancing the team spirit of an employee. Then build the relations between employee as well as employer, and then develop the collaboration among different units of organization, and then develop organizational health, organizational overall health, that means entire organization. Okay, if you see the point one by one, capabilities of a specific employee means a particular human being considered as an employee. Now the employee capabilities are enhancing, then the employee considered as resource. How the common ordinary human being considered as a resource person in a manner develop the capabilities under the guidelines of human resource development. And then how to develop the capabilities of employee in teams. Most of the people recognized that they are isolated, they are very arrogant, they are very lazy mingle with the teams. If team spirit not encouraging in the human resources, they cannot be produce much and more, because in the organization 1 plus 1 gives rise to more than 2, because one individual person productivity is equal to another person individual productivity. If continuously these two people productivity combines, the individual capability productivity is lesser than the combined. That means if you are individually producing, the one person may be producing one product, the another person also producing one product, but these two people entertaining in the spirit of team, these two people producing more than 2 products, maybe 3, maybe 4, because the wastage is reduced because of the discussion, the wastage is reduced because of the cooperation, or the productivity levels are enhanced because of the coordination. This is what in the HR perspective we called as synergy. SYNERGY, synergy. Because of the synergy, most of the organization encouraging team spirit, but it is the nature of generally human tendency, most of the people not freely mingling with the teams, so that mingling capability, that involvement capability, the voluntary capability should be encouraging by the part of HRD in case of human resource management. And then build the relation between employee and employer, because employer acting as a director, employee acting as an actor. Based upon these two persons, the productivity, these two people are encouraging only the productivity, only the profits, but this is then evidence because of the best relation between these two. If bond is strong between these two poles, then productivity is high. If these people are arrogant with each other, the productivity is discouraging. Okay, for entertaining such kind of relations, we just go for give proper direction with respect of human resource development, and then develop the collaborations of among different units of an organization. For an organization consisting different department, organization consisting department A, department B, department C, like n number of departments. Every department has its own roles by their home resources. As far as resources concerns, all people have same kind of skills, all people have same kind of standard behavior, all people have to develop their knowledge, but their jobs are maybe different. If it is a production, the entire operations with machinery. If it is a marketing, the entire activities related to the products or services, but the way they are performing towards the standard is a common phenomena, so that the human resources are collaborated with all human resources of all departments. This is my department, I could not belong responsible for the other department, not like that. We should not say every department has our own department, because these are the different departments under a common umbrella of our entire organization, which has the same vision, which has the same mission, so that it is our responsibility to develop collaboration under the perspective of human resource development. And finally, develop organizational health. Organizational health means avoid the strikes, avoid the lockouts, avoid the dysfunctions, avoid the grievances, encouraging the results, encouraging the productivity, enhancing the profit. These are the different negatives as well as positives, which gives a proper health, a positive health to the organization. How we improving the positive concern towards the organizational health is a mechanism of HRD. So in these perspectives, the HRD focusing different goals. Encouraging the employee to mold as the resources, encouraging the employee to mingle with the teams, encouraging the employee to extend their cooperation with the employer, as well as encouraging the employer to give the support to the employee, and also encouraging the organizational collaboration among different units and also different organizations in the industry also. and also providing the safe health to the organization. These are the different safeguards which are in the hands of human resources, which is a major consideration for human resource development. If you see all these functions only related to the people, nothing more than that. People skills, people behavior, people knowledge is the main orientation of HRD from HRM. This is the broader perspective. This is the only focusing perspective of people. Clear? Okay. Now under HRD, we just focusing job analysis, because for developing human resource in our organization is the starting point from job analysis, because from recruitment starts from job analysis only. For example, as far as HRD concerns, the first consideration the human resources are considered. Human resources are expecting in the process of recruitment. So any HR manager or any management go for recruitment based upon the person required skills. The person required skills, or else the organizational activity which is going to be performed based upon the existing vacancy. Now the organization or managers go for recruitment. So in the process of recruitment, how the recruitment is entertained means because of job analysis. Job means a particular task. For example, the task is shorthand. For example, a chief minister or a prime minister or any official delegate want to say something. The stenographer entirely note down as much as possibly, as quick as possibly. This is the duty of a shorthand writer. So here the task is taking the dictation from an official. For taking the stenographer in the post of this task, we just go for job analysis. So okay, as far as the task is, here we consider as job, whereas analysis means the complete evaluation, whether to whom we go for the selection, whether why we go for particular person to be recruited, what is the requirements of a particular person, what is the capability of an organization to pay remuneration to that person, how far the person capability to be analyzed. These are the different parameters under job description, job specification, job evaluation. Based upon these three parameters, now we are going to cover job analysis, so that the job analysis is for better understanding. We just discussing with three consideration. Job description. Before going to recruiting any person by a manager or a management, first let us go for job description. For example, we just go for the task of shorthand writer. What the description is, the stenographer has a knowledge of shorthand and good writing skills, as better as we can, very fast movement and pleasing personality. The other different parameters we just go for verification of actually. If these are the qualities we keep aside, then it is very easy for recognizing the person capability with respect to our task. Then the job specification. Actually the shorthand writer have a knowledge on typewriting or else shorthand writing, but along with these two, the person is mingled with very freely, very gently, very affectionately and attractively, and also he need good communication skills. They are the not describing at the time of recruitment, but these are the different specifications which are added advantages of the task to be performed well. Actually, for maintaining this task, if the person has a writing skills, that's it, or the person has a shorthand skills, that's it, but along with those, they are the additional characteristics to be added advantage. And coming to evaluation part, evaluation is a part of recruitment. If we consider the salary administration or pay packages, how well we comparing this particular stenographer A with stenographer B or with stenographer C. How well the particular person we are going to be recruiting based upon the specific characters, based upon the descriptive characters, how well we give much more better preference to A when compared to the rest of the others, or else B with A or C with B and C. Okay, job evaluation, how best faster he can able to adapt the shorthand, how well he could speak all others without any arrogancy, how pleasing personality he has, how much we paid each and every point of pinpoint. So based upon that, now there are two considerations in the recruitment: selecting the best or else eliminating the waste. If either one consideration, if we followed, we best consider a specific human resources. Identification of such kind of human resource is the part of human resource development, which is a best consideration for recruitment through the job analysis. Job analysis is job description, job specification, job evaluation. Job means a task which is going to be performed by an employee for achieving our organizational objective. Description means the detailed description of separate task. The task to be segregated into for example, a long task divided into subtasks. For example, entire portion A divided into A1, B1, C1, like these are the tasks to be considered as subtasks. If these subtasks are considered the major task, we consider as job. Based upon the each requirement, what qualities we are going to see, what characteristics we are going to observe, they are the different descriptions. Based upon the description of these characteristics, the specific nature, what is the qualification of that particular person, what is the experience of the particular person, how well added advantages or have the particular person, whether we go for recruiting or eliminating. Then evaluating. Evaluating is the process of the comparison of the employee for better standards, for remuneration point of view or quality concern, whatever. If these three are completed, then automatically we may be completed the analysis. Analysis is the clear detailed study of a particular person, here a particular task. The job analysis, how better we are going to see, that is the betterment of the HRD. HRD is focusing the complete review of a particular job. Unnecessarily no organization taking any kind of recruitment, because the recruitment cost is also waste cost. The unnecessary employee movements in the organization also a waste of cost. So that if job analysis is strictly required, then the organization is going for recruitment. Unless until organization never go for any kind of recruitment, or else organization always looking for retrenchment of existing employees if any wastage in the organization, because as far as HR also concerns, low cost, high productivity. How it is possible means eliminating of waste, encouraging of the best. Okay, this is the job analysis part of under HRD specific goals with the last topic. Okay. The perspective of HRD, now we are going to see the training part of an employee as well as the development part of an employee. Similarly, HRD and HRM, now we are also focusing training and development. Training is a short term perspective, whereas development is a long term perspective. Or training is a temporary perspective, development is a continuous perspective. As far as HRD concerns, the more focusing on the development. Development itself a continuous training. Training is a short term development. That's it. So based upon that point of view, training and development, for better understanding, I just go for dividing 4 concepts. 1, 2, 3 as well as this is the 4th one. The first part of under training and development is the purpose of training and development. Why we go for training and development, particularly in the organization, is the first concept. After knowing this concept, then imperatives of adult learning. What is adult learning and what are the imperatives of adult learning is the second part, which is a supporting for training and development. And then after completion of these two, then the third one is systematic approach to training. That means in practically how the training and development is going to be performed in the organization. After this, what are the supporting systems of HRD? With respect to a supporting system, the training as well as development how organizations are going to perform. So with these four particular subsystems, with these four particular parameters, we just go for better understanding on training and development. If you see the first one, the name itself it indicates the specific purpose of training and development. The first purpose of training and development is improve the performance of an individual. Improve the performance of an individual. For example, if you see as a fresher, an employee as a fresher may be releasing one product per day or maybe two products per day. But if you see the same employee after a span of 1 year or 2 years, the same person may be releasing more than one product, more than two products. What is the difference here and there is only the updation of skills, the updation of knowledge, the updation of practical orientation of the behavior. So the continuously increasing the performance is the first task of training. And also the recurring generation of more productivity is the consideration of the development. Okay, as far as the training and development is only improving the individuals regularly. Instead of going for another fresher into an organization, we may be cover the extraordinary productivity levels by same employee. How the performance to be increased if the individual is capable. This is the first consideration. Then second one is preparation of individuals for future jobs. As far as technology changes, we should not stick on a same kind of operation regularly. Based upon the technology, now we are going for Indian technology, tomorrow we may for German technology or Japan technology. So the technology is variant, the task to be moderated, deviated. So with respect of the technology upgradations, the employee should be ready to fight. If not, the employee may be retrenched from the organization. So that as far as security point of view, as far as organization development point of view, we could not stop the updated technology because technology is giving much more productivity. So for withstanding those kind of changes, we need to mold according to the future jobs, according to future. So the preparation of the same individual for future jobs also. And coming to the general growth, only this particular employee not related to a particular task. The task may be also changed. There may be job rotations are exercising, maybe job places may be changing, maybe departments may be changing, because in the perspective of optimum utilization of resources, the one employee may be deputed to another organization or another branch or another unit, or within the unit another department, so that the general growth also increased. To withstanding the current job, to withstanding the future job, to withstanding the any other job in the organization, we just need training and development, isn't it? So based upon the training and development, the complete shape happens for a particular task along with an employee. This is the first consideration. Then the imperatives of adult learning. Most of the human resources are, we just considered adults, because as per the Child Labor Act, we should not go for below 14 years. So as much as organization concerned, we all treated as adults. Adult learning is more imperative, whereas child learning. So in the adult learning, there are three considerations are focusing. Though we are adults, we may not be learners or gently, because sometimes we may consciously learning, sometimes we may unconsciously learning. So based upon the consciousness, based upon the unconsciousness, the people who we are going to teach, we are going to discuss, these people may be variant of learners. That means they are showing discretions in the process of their learning. So that for better understanding of the learning perspective, here the author gave three kinds of theories. The first one is mechanistic theories. The second one is cognitive theories, and then humanistic theories. They are the different theories which are focusing only on the learning part of an employee who is treated as an adult. First, in the mechanistic theories, suppose discussing only if employee is in a passive mode. That means the employee physical presence is there, but mentally absence is more. Most of the human beings, even adults also, they are organization, if they are disturbing in the personal life, they could not give more contribution in the official life. So most of the learning happened in the passive learning. because they cannot involve in the process of learning which is guided by the superiors or extraordinary persons or external experts of trainers. So that this is somewhat happened. Mechanistic theories, all mechanistic theories are proposing different learning concepts of passive mode. Passive mode in the sense of without any impact of adult learning, since it is training program which is meant for adults, it is a childhood learning. So mechanistic theory is also considered. Mechanistic theories also consideration is the part of training and development. Then cognitive theory. Cognitive theory means here the training is not only for the person, the training along with the person, the human brains also. That means it is a conscious process. What is happening in the organization, what is to be happen in the organization, what is to be maybe happen in the future should be recognized consciously, but means the person is complete focusing attention. This is the actual training which gives maximum results. In the cognitive process of learning, we may consider that learning process is focused learning. This is the second consideration, which is focusing by cognitive theories. And then humanistic theories. Humanistic theories means most of the people learn freely maximum content if these people not in the pressure, not in a pressure. That means free of fear. If fear is exercising, they are very disturbedly showing the attention of learning. In such a situation, half of the 50-50 chances may be happen. 50% of learning may be involved in the brains of the human beings. The rest of the 50 may be evaporated. Why these people are carefully listen means, since they are the money takers from the organization, they just show their fear. So in the passive mode, the training is totally wasted. In the fear mode, the training may or may not be useful. But whereas cognitive learning is maybe wonder, which is representing with cognitive theories. So by these different theories, we just go for practical training to employees to get maximum results from the employees. So this is also a perspective of training and development after completion of identification of these tasks. Okay, this is imperative of adult learning. There are different imperatives. We just cross those imperatives and give our level best as a human being, as a human resource manager, because we are focusing on the development of a person. At any cost, it should be learned, it should be updated, it should not be outdated. So this is the perspective. And completely after completion of this concept, now we are focusing the exact training and development programs. This is a systematic way. Systematic means in a sequential manner. The sequence is in this criteria. First one is identifying the training needs, and then followed by preparation of training plan, and then followed by conduct of trainings, and then evaluate of trainings and select the trainers. First, since it is a costliest process, since it is a money investment process, without any reason we should not go for unwanted training programs in the organization. When the employees are facing problems, when the output is not reaches the up to the levels, then we just recognizing the gaps where the productivity levels are damaging, where the employee facing problems, that gaps should be identified, which is a need for training. Training needs to be identified based upon the designation, based upon the technology changes, based upon the new operations, based upon the new assignments. So these are the different parameters, these are the different criteria to identifying the training needs. If designation changes, the task is changes, so that gap is identified. If assignment is changed, the earlier assignment no need for training, but future assignment maybe requires some sort of training. Maybe place changes. So far the employee working in India, now he shifted to the another project which is going to be abroad. So the training is required. So based upon these requirements, we just go for identifying the needs. After identifying the needs, we just preparing the training plan. For each designation, how much duration we consider, each duration, what are the topics to be covered, which topic is more relevant to the gap fulfillment. The gap is one thing, but fulfillment is another thing which may not be fitting. The entire training cost is wasted. So that where there is a possibility of lagging suits the training plan. So training plan is for training need analysis. So after preparation of training plan itself consisting of training budget also, training duration also, the training timings also. Okay, with this the training plan is completed. If once the training plan is completed, then we go for practical training. Practical training is possible on site, off site. If training is exactly happened in the existing place, that is on the job training or on site training, where the specific organizational climate to be prepared in outside of the organization, if give training by something certain other expert, is called as off site training or on the job training. For example, on the job training means training given at the place itself. For example, a bank teller may be exercising money disbursements or money payments or money receipts. So he need on the job training only, because the particular person going to be disbursed, going to be received amount in the bank itself. But whereas if you see the driving for a bus driver or a lorry driver, we should not give the training in the proper roads. The road climate should be prepared in the isolated area, then we are giving the training to them, because accidents may be happen. So some jobs requires on the job training, certain jobs requires off the job trainings. So based upon that, we just go for conducting the trainings. Once we conducting the trainings, whether this comes under the part of planning, but management consideration, planning is important. After planning, controlling also important. In the last class we saw planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. These are the different management functions. So with respect of these functions, we just go for evaluation. We just get the feedback from the existing trainees. At what level the present training is useful for you, whether you are satisfied with the training programs or not, whether such kind of training is provided recurringly or not, whether are you satisfied or not. These are the different questionnaires, these are the different questions we should collect from the training, from both the trainer as well as trainee. Then we should know what is the facts are happening in the organization, in the training program. Based upon that, if any modifications are required, we just go for further modification in the next process of the training, or else the same mistakes are happened which has a cost involvement. So evaluation of training also required. So after all these situations, we just verifying before the earlier or at the end of the session, we just recognizing the trainer, because the trainer is a dynamic person who learns, who make the other persons to be very happily in case of skills, knowledge, behavior. So selection of trainer is more wonder out of these 5 characteristics. So with this, the systematic approach of training and development is happened. But whatever, these are the perspectives for improving the present job, for achieving the future job, for general growth. So for this, we just involving training and development. And finally, the modification, the further improvement of training and development is we just observing through support system for HRD. This is the final final part of training and development. So here, if training is success means the evidence is performance of employees should be highlighted. After training also, the same productivity levels to be discharged by an employee means there is no usefulness of the training. So the performance of an employee, the enhancedness of performance of an employee is the first consideration of supporting system of human resource development. If performance is increasing, the HRD is progressing. If performance is still decreasing, the HRD not at all progressing. That means we just unwantedly, simply wastely disburse the huge amount on training and development. The next one is human resource information system. Human resource information system. For taking any decisions, we need information. Without information, we cannot take any decisions, because market has a scarcity, then it is better for releasing more productivity. The availability is more and more, then we stop the productivity. So whether we go for further production, whether we stop here, we just require the information regarding the market. So likewise here we go for further recruitment, we stop the recruitment process. We go for further trainings or we stop the training programs. We enhance the performance or we decreasing the performance. For taking any kind of decision, we just needed information system. If information system linked with the HRD, then decisions are exercising low cost with more effectiveness. And also the training and development inculcate sufficient organizational culture, best culture, because culture is a complete environment of an organization. If environment supports the human resources, then these people are satisfied. If these people are satisfied, productivity levels are high. If environment itself discouraging how much you are investing on that, simply the productivity is decreasing, because satisfaction is the criteria, dissatisfaction is the criteria which is linked to the organizational culture. Yes, my boss is very good, it is my responsibility to feel by the culture only. If boss is not good, I should not go for much more productivity because organization paid a less amount to us. This is the culture, then the total dissatisfaction leads to decreasing the productivity. So by molding the culture, by encouraging the information system, by enhancing the performance, we need training and development. So training and development carried on this way, which is useful for these three criteria. So this is the overall perspective of training and development. Training is the environment of most cost, so that training is regularly not happen. If we concentrating on the development, then each and every employee recognizing their role to develop their individually, they develop their only. So this is the perspective of development. So training is short term process, because organization never go for much more training programs, but training is recognized, training is important, but unwantedly encouraging more and more training programs which is incurring of lot of cost, so they are encouraging development. Development means the employee himself or herself feels themselves as the trainers to develop their capabilities with respect to present role as well as the future role along with the general role. So development also a part of training, a continuously long term perspective, whereas training is just a short term perspective. Training may be we treated as demonstration, development may be we treated as a continuous learning perspective. So for learning perspective, we may be completing learning also, focusing learning also. Okay, training itself involves learning. Okay, they are the four perspectives of training and development. Hope you clear. Okay, in the human resource development, after training and development, we may be focusing on attitude development, because if you organization expecting the performance of an employee, okay, employee performance, only the HRD is focusing the same employee towards the standard performance. This is also performance, this is also performance, but HRD focusing on employee. Before focusing an employee, performance levels are very low. After focusing HRD, the employee performance levels are very high. This is the reason behind this. Okay, by training and development, by encouraging lot of activities, only the human resource development considers the employee to be molded. Okay, as far as the organizational psychology considers, the exhibit levels of performance of employee before HRD or after HRD is only observable by the rest of the world. Whatever I speak about something, whatever I express my behavior, only recognizing by the rest of the world, but I never show my thoughts internally. The internal thoughts of mine I could not show anybody. Based upon my thoughts, based upon my attitude, based upon my nature of thinking patterns, I just observing my performance. For example, here the work performance. The work performance is considered as the behavior of particular employee. That means the output we are recognizing from the employee, whereas the employee has the internal mechanism. For example, outcome is behavior, Here the behavior we treated as employee performance. So employee performance is the behavior. Why the particular employee performing such a way means we don't know what is happening inside of that employee. There is something inside which focusing on that particular employee, we just observing whether the employee is up to the mark or not up to the mark. That means the output we consider as the behavior, the showing of output, the releasing of output as a part of the behavior, the internal inside mechanism is attitude. So, if we consider the output is the behavior, input is the attitude. If attitude is positively, then behavior is positively. If attitude is negatively, then behavior is negatively. That means, if the employee towards molding organizational objectives, the performance is increasing. That we consider as positive behavior, which is only the strong feeling about the organization. Whereas, how many training programs are encouraging by human resource development, the performance not up to the mark means the inside strong feeling is dissatisfied towards the work, which cannot be observable. So that if output is increasing in a better manner, it is the mechanism to adjust the inside of a person. So, as far as the internal side relates to the human psychology. So, based upon this, the total attitude or attitude development is only focusing on employee psychology first. So, let us go for what is attitude. Attitude means towards positive or towards negative or towards favorableness, toward unfavorableness on an object. Object may be a thing or a person or event, whatever, since we called as an input. That means certain input we like very much, certain input we doesn't like it. Certain person we are showing interest on, certain other person we cannot go for much more interest. Based upon the favorism or disfavorism, based upon the positive interest or negative interest, we just find out whether the moods of an employee, whether the moods of a person. So, based upon that consideration, we consider this is the attitude. How to change attitude positively is a very difficult task, because since it is a intangible in nature, since it is abstract in nature, we cannot focusing much more of human brains. It is very difficult to expressing positive behavior from all the employees, because these all employees are from various cultures, from various environments, various nations or various religions, various regions. So, it is very difficult to managing all these differential persons towards the positive behavior which is suits for organizational mission and vision. It is very difficult to mold the attitude positively. For better understanding, if I suppose to draw a diagram with a glass and fill enough amount of water, if you ask to describing any person of this glass, certain people said of filled glass, certain other people said of emptied glass. Both are correct, but the answer is the employee said of filled glass, those have positive nature, these people considered as optimistic nature. Whereas the second answer also correct, if they said like of emptied, that means they are not recognizing the worthiness, they are only focusing on the emptiness. Emptiness focusing on problems, filledness focusing on solutions. Everybody discussing on problem, but who is find out a solution? A better person, a proper HR only focusing on the solution. So that the reason this is the correct answer. The way they are focusing on which area positive, on which area negative will be discussed. The positive way leads to positive behavior, the negative way leads to negative behavior. So this is the one kind of example to find out whether the employee has positive nature or negative nature. Like that, if you see the components part of attitude, there are different parts: emotional component, informational component behavioral component. Emotional component means most of the people attach themselves with emotions, temperaments. If boss is ordering saying something, in particular situation the employee may be mauled or may not be mauled. But the molding nature or may not be molding nature is only depends upon the mental condition of an employee, which is taking the guidelines from the superior. If superior gives much more concern towards the employee, then emotional balance is quite good. If superior is treating the other person is very arrogant, then these people may be disturbed emotionally, they could not listen much more. This is happening in every family. If husband is saying arrogantly, the wife could not listen because she is the better half. This is the recognition. If husband is saying something which is very passionately, which is very politely, automatically rest of the people, wife or whoever, or kids, whoever, may be taking the adjustment of the balance. So emotional intelligence also a first focusing point of attitude. Attitude sometimes may be positive, sometimes may be negative. The person may be the same, but it depends on emotional condition. I am the only person to interest the same thing at one particular point of time. I am the only person to not interesting the same situation, the same particular thing in another point of time. So emotional adjustment also the first component in the attitude. Then information. Informational means if manager giving the information to all the human resources who are working as the followers, then information regularly passes. If not information passes properly, if they are ordering something, if they are ordering commanding over the employees, these people may not be good enough for accepting the decisions because the information is totally absent. With lack of information, we towards negative role. With the proper discharging of information, the same person may be molded towards the positive. Okay, it is a pinpoint of movement which is showing, which is throwing positive or negative because of the segregation of the information. And finally, behavioral. Behavioral means the entire phenomena which has the past evidence. So, since from the 20 years, since from the 30 years, since from the childhood, I strictly believe on something. Whoever said in a different manner, I could not go further learning because my past experiences, my mother is good, but my wife is said, your mother is not good, but my belief is strong enough, my mother is always good. So, I should not focusing much more attention on my wife because the behavioral patterns also towards positive or towards negative is deciding factor. If any point of situation, in any point of time, if we are in the positive, here also if you are in the positive, here also if you are in positive, the positive nature only supporting the positive behavior unless until we should not give much more performance. How much amount they are disbursing, how much investment the organization is going to incur, we should not learn positive behavior because our internally strictly negative. So, there are the three components should be focusing very much to decide the attitude, which is the input factor of expressions. Whether employee is up to the mark, whether employee is not up to the mark is only identifiable by outside environment. But whereas the internal HR manager observing the inside of the mechanism, which is a psychology. Okay, from psychology perspective of view, we should go for attitude development. Okay, then we go for significance of attitude. Now, significance of attitude. Okay. Significance means the importance of attitude. Because of why we go for significance of attitude means the attitude only the way of expressing the behavior which has a major impact on decision making. So that it is our time to recognize, to discuss significance of attitude. So if you go for the significance of attitude, there are four issues are there. The first one is adjustment function of an attitude, ego defensive mechanism function, value expression function, and knowledge function. These are four issues we just go for discuss. Let us go for adjustment function. For example, if anybody wants to discuss adjustment means adjustment of attitude or adjustment of agreement. Adjustment means simply agreement. Whenever we are talking about agreement, definitely we just consider two persons like A as well as B. If the first person agreed with B, then adjustment is positive. If the prior person may not accepting the other person, that is negative adjustment. So if these two persons may be superior or subordinate, or these two persons may be peers, or these two persons may be siblings, these two persons may be wife and husband, wherever, however, if one person adjusting the other person means some sort of attitude adjustment is required. For example, A is treated as boss. Imagine person A is boss, person B is a subordinate. If superiors accepting the decisions of the subordinates, or subordinates given value by the superiors, then subordinates tentatively adjust with the superiors. They are not opposing the subordinates. They freely mingle with the subordinates, freely accessible to the subordinates. They are very much affectionate towards the subordinate, then automatically, willingly, voluntarily, the other person, maybe subordinate or anybody else, who is adjust with the prior person. Because of adjustment, the negative attitude turns as positive, which may be giving positive behavior. That means attitude is the key consideration. That consideration may or may not be adjustable because of both the parties are agreed together. There is a simple logic. And coming to ego defensive mechanism. Defensive mechanism is a critical function here. For example, take the same example, person A as a manager, person B as a subordinate. Person A orders some XYZ decision, which may not be accurate in case of the B. B identifies this decision may not be good. But A realizes internally this is not at all good, but due to defensive mechanism over the ego, he could not accepting the other person's decision. He could not accepting the subordinate decision because the particular person manager's ego not satisfied. So that the reason straight away he ordered go ahead with the same decision which is encouraging with the manager itself, because at any point of time, at any circumstances, these kind of people never tolerate subordinates. Even though the subordinates are good enough, even though the subordinates skill enough, because the defensive mechanism. Due to such disturbances, attitude may be variated. The person B maybe turns to positive to negative in such kind of actions, or else the person A also developing negative attitude because this person may interfering in the process of decision making without the permission of A. So like that, on B, A turns negative, on A, B turns negative. If negative attitude leads the organization, definitely the behavior is totally negative. Simple. Then we go for value expression. As a manager, for example, let us take mine as a manager in so and so organization which we considered with A. I have a total value, I have a total reasonable attitude towards the ethical concept. The ethical concept of marketing is we should not prompt the customer. Prompt or not prompt. We should go for qualitative product rather than not at all prompting the customer for boosting up the sales. This is purely unethical. But as an ethical attitude, I should not go for the not prompt decisions, because I should not go for manipulating the customers. If I go for quality, then I go for prompting the customers. If I go for not at all up to the quality material, and I should not go for the prompting. But not prompting decisions, the A surveillance is very critical, whereas prompting decisions, A surveillance may be acceptable in case of the management. So wherever, whenever, whatever I keep on going on value, that value is the best reason for to changing my attitude or to sticking my attitude. Wherever I valued more towards ethical, I should not go for not prompting the customers. I should go for don't want to mesmerizing the customers. Whereas if I am totally unethical, I just go for prompting the customers, because my value is the consideration for my attitude towards positive or towards negative. If somebody imposing me, I should not go for that, because the internal psychology keeps on moving towards positive, 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 like ethical, ethical, ethical. So this is the value of expression. Whereas the final function is knowledge function. Knowledge function in your textbook, the simple example what they gave is office bearers. Office bearers are members of unions. Unions are the representatives of the employees. Employees are one end in the organization, whereas employees are another end in the organization. Employers are always seeking providing low remuneration to the employees, getting the more contributions from the employees. Similarly, employees also discharging low responsibilities, giving least contributions by getting maximum remuneration, because they are the different poles, opposite poles. But here unions are representing the interest of the employees, the management giving promises, immediately these people may have a clear doubt against the employer, because though they are releasing, though they are come up with activities or promises, these people may not be reliable, because initially what they have inside of the knowledge is, inside of the brain they have the knowledge is, they are the opposite poles. Whatever we ask, they are not supposed to give, they are not supposed to respond. Though they are responding positively, we may be confused what happens in the minds of employers. This is the reason why the knowledge is also, the past knowledge is also having a contribution of deciding the fate of an attitude, deciding the fate of a behavior. So attitude is maybe positive because of these many reasons in one way. Similarly, these many reasons are also a causing of attitude towards negative. So positive attitude gives positive contributions, negative attitude gives negative contributions, which is the internal part of output of behavior. So that if behavior is standard, employee tenure may be continued. If behavior is not up to the mark, automatically at any point of time these people may be retrenched from the organization. Okay, this is the best evidence of expression, the best evidence of understanding phenomena, particularly in the development of person, through the HRD. HRD is focusing only the standard focusing of the behavior. In what way the employee updating their standard behavior, in what way updating the present behavior towards the standard. So in such orientation of actions, the people, the HR manager and or HR departmental professionals easily observe the behavior of an employee by searching these many characteristics of an attitude. And finally, we go for changing attitude. Changing attitude is the best disturbance in case of standard behavior or the output behavior, because at one particular point of time I myself discharging one way, and in the another point of time I shows negative interest or lack of interest towards the particular situation based upon the situation, based upon the demanding of the situation. At one situation I show positive nature, and another situation I go for negative attitude, because of these many characteristics. Because of these characteristics, attitude always changing. If attitude is keep on changing, HRD focus is more critical. If attitude is not at all changing, then the responsibility, the struggle of HRD is little bit liberalized. The first characteristic here is prior commitment and lack of information. For example, I want to go for somewhere, but my spouse is recognizing to stop me because she has some other engagement. I have to go somewhere, but my wife forced me to go to somewhere. There is a disturbance happen between both the parties, because I don't have prior intimation. If my wife could give information in the morning itself, I just ready with the information to suppose or to oppose with my wife. If I have lot of information, prior intimation from my wife, I just adjust with her. If not, suddenly I burst out. Who will give the permission to you? I have lot of engagement. My engagement is more important than your engagement. Why don't you accepting me? Why don't you prompt me? Like that, prior commitment is the first reason. There is nothing happen. Both are agreed together. Both are better halves. both are same responsibility, but this person tend to tentatively accepting their ego satisfaction. This person also tend to tentatively adjusting their behavior. If this person may be strong enough, these people may be suppressed. If these people may be strong enough, these people may be suppressed. If both are strong enough, definitely quarrel is happening. Then second thing is, the second is usage of the fear. If you see the social acts like alcohol or come out from tobacco consumption, in the movie theater we go for ads like this. Because of that ads, the people may be realizing themselves not to go for such kind of attitudes, because we may be facing a lot of problem, because we have a family responsibilities, we have a social responsibilities. If unwantedly we go for continuously the consumption of tobacco or alcohol, like any drug addictions, the realization happened in front of the eyes maybe causes fear in the mindset, so that the attitude is slowly coming out from the negative to positive. So this is the reason also attitude may be changing. Sometimes avoiding tobacco is a good sign, but accepting the tobacco is a bad sign. Okay, because of fear we may be changing our attitude. Then influence of friends and relatives. Most of the people, most of the illiterates, most of the semi-skilled easily motivated by their kith and kin, their relatives, their family friends, because they are more valuable than what they have. So that I always influencing my wife, I always influencing my kids, because I am the responsible person what they believe instead of me. So that I influencing easily my friend, why don't you go for this product, why don't you go for this product. Okay, like this I make my kith and kin towards my attitude. They are simply changing their attitude to our attitude. Like that. The last thing is coping way, co-opting way. Co-opting way means for example, this is the general tendency. Example is general tendency. Before elections, everybody is strictly recognized, if Modi is becoming as a prime minister, India would be more enough, good enough. But after certain period of time, everybody not accepting the actions of the Narendra Modi. If in such a situation, we easily blaming the other person. If the people whoever blaming the other person may be having a chance of becoming a prime minister, then he come up with realities, he may be reliable, such a hot seat, we should not blame the other person, because it is a dignified position. If we not accepted, or if we accepted, fortunately or unfortunately he is a suitable person, or he is a responsible person over the duration of 5 years. We should not keep on any unwanted talk about him, because we don't know the hurdles in the hot seat. If we have a chance to become at least a one day chief minister or one day prime minister or one day superior position in the banking organization, then we may face the real situations, real hurdles. In such a situation, then we keep quiet. Such kind of reliability is also a pattern for attitude changes. Before making that position, we may be acting as, we may be showing our attitude towards negative. If we get a chance to make ourselves to realize, then our attitude towards positive. No, we should not blame. It is very difficult to say it. So like that, our attitude may be altered one place to another place, one position to another position. So these are the different consequences which are useful for changing attitude. The manager is a person observing the present psychological attitude of an employee. Based upon these parameters, the manager is responsible to change the attitude how the organization requires. This is also a part of HRD. If attitude is not suitable for organizational mission and organizational goals, manager is a person through the HRD changes the subordinate's attitude. This is the internal secrecy of the psychological attitude. Okay. So far we completed attitude part also. Now we are going for career path. Okay. Now the next part is career path planning. Okay. Career path planning is a planning activity of career of an employee which is a key characteristic of human resource development under human resource management. Okay, as far as management function, planning itself a first function of management. Okay, for example, if you take an employment by a fresher, a fresh employee, the attitude of fresh employee up to the employment contract is very enthusiastic, because till now there is no employment contract, so that there is no availability of so far employment contract, so that the reason the fresh employee very eagerly waiting for to do a job. But after a period of 1 year, after a period of 2 years, the same job may be routine to the same enthusiastic employee as a fresher. At the time of employment contract, the employee may be fresher, but right now the employee has some sort of experience. Due to some sort of experience, the same routine job may be dissatisfied, because this is the human tendency. Whatever we like, at first we like, but after a period of time we may be boring in that. So that the reason in the career path planning, these three concepts are maybe exercising in the HRD department. The first one is individual employee, like a fresher or an existing employee, who are considered as individuals. These individual employees desire, that means they want strictly, and also expect, they are predicting something, changes in life, and also as far as HRD concerns, changes in their job. That means people tentatively observing or expecting or desiring little bit changes in the present job, little bit changes in the present job, or else little bit changes in the remuneration also. The same amount of remuneration we are collecting with the contributions for the contribution, the salary may also boring, because of the motivation activity, because of the boring activity, we just require some sort of changes. This is the first reason. And the second reason is there is a pattern in these changes. There are different patterns are there. We will go for in the next class. There may be patterns of like X, like Y, like Z, n number of patterns are there. One pattern may be leading in one way of career, the another pattern may be leading in another way of the career, the other pattern may be leading in another way of the career. But either one has a separate route map, either one has a separate clear-cut path towards the leading the career path, that means which has a changes in future. And the third one is there is a feeling of frustration if things does not happen. That means whatever we expect, if we could not get, we may be getting some sort of disturbance in our mindset. I expect 1 lakh salary, but actually I get 50,000. So because of not reaching my expectation of levels of salary, I keep on frustrating. I want to go for restaurant, but unfortunately the movement is disturbed, but so that I could not enjoy with my taste, I should not enjoy with my recipe, so that the frustration happens. Small things initially gives dissatisfaction. The recurring of dissatisfaction leads to frustration. If frustration continuously happens, the productivity is totally evaporated, that means decreased. So because of the reaching of expectations, because of different variety of patterns, because of the change patterns, the HRD profession recognizing clearly career path planning for almost all the human resources. If not, they tentatively feel boring. If these people are not satisfying, if these people are not always boring, suddenly the productivity levels are decreasing. So the HR person, the HR professional requirement is at any cost productivity to be increased by exercising anything else, but the condition here is cost is also to be optimum, to be low. So because of these many reasons, career path planning came into the picture. Before going to career path, before going to attitude verification towards the career planning, HR people observing different life stages. These are the common life stages in every human being. These are the different life stages of employment contract. If you see common person life, if you see the common experience of an employment contract, we just go for these many stages of lives. These common life stages proposed by Erickson, these employment stages are observed by Levinson. For example, adolescence, that means up to the age of 11 or up to the age of 13 and just before entering into the teenage. Here at the adolescence, people are not that much of identity, because hormones are not grow well in advance. So that because of the physiological reasons, because of the metabolic reactions, because of so many immature considerations, the first stage may be missing the identity, and then slowly we are entering into the 13, 14, 15 up to the 18th or 19th, that the age of not complete adults, but these people may be feeling as we are adults, because hormones imbalance is increasing slowly. So that they tentatively grasping the attraction towards the opposite sex, towards the outside environment, towards the something they want to fame, they want to do more, because the metabolic reactions are like that. So that the identity is taking from the outside world. This is early adulthood. Then coming to adulthood, these people may be making realization, but complete realization not possible, because of the adjacent part of the teenage, these people also may not be completely mature. And finally, after the age of 25 or after the age of 30, we just cover the maturization of the complete brain, which has totally imbalance of identity. So that these are the different stages, came across by every individual. Out of all, every individual, these stages should be observed. Similarly, the same kind of expressions applied to the employment contract also. Over the span of employment contract, initial stages we tentatively show one kind of characteristics, and later on we changes our characteristics. For example, let us see, the first one is apprentice time. That means the probation period, the training period. We don't know anything in the organization. So initially we don't know anything, since we are the freshers, we just adaptability, we just applications of superiors, so that we are very obedient. Every employee, not only you, not only me, every employee and the apprentice time very sincere, very dedicated. But later on, if these people mingle with colleagues slowly, then some sort of experience the people may be getting, not that much of adaptability when compared to the earlier, because they have little bit experience, but they could not give much more training to rest of the colleagues. But these people can easily grasping the training programs than that of the earlier considerations. This is the second stage for every employee. And then mentors. Now these people becoming as a supervisors or the next level employees. Maybe promotion may be given, maybe awardation may be given, so that these people could ready for giving suggestions to somebody else. This is the right way, this is the wrong way. Everybody. Then, if these people have a chance of sponsors, that itself, if these people recurringly, continuously progress together for higher authorities, higher levels in the hierarchy, then these people may be having the chance of decision making in the top level management. The top level management attitude is totally different, whereas the lower level, that too the initial level attitude. So attitude always changing. So that the reason, because of these stages, from here onwards we just go for this stage. So these people are changing from here to here, here to here, here to here. Why these people are want to changing means, the tendency of employment contract in the mindset of an employee, the tendency of human beings psychology is only requires change. They initially recognizing changes. The same kind of level, they don't want to much more period. So that the reason, career path is planning for every individual, which is progressing the productivity levels. So for this continuation, if you see the career patterns, we have n number of patterns. After this, driver patterns are more recognized. patterns are more recognized. If you see these many patterns one by one, first one is linear pattern. For example, take an organization Coca-Cola. In the Coca-Cola, there are different cadres are there. Class 4 employee category is there, class 3 employee category is there, class 2 employees category is there, class 1 category is there. Initially people recognized or recruited from C4. Most of the people tentatively changing their job from C4 to C3, C3 to C2, C3 to C1. This is the hierarchy. This is the best hierarchy. That means top level management consideration. This is a low level. So if this is the pattern of looking by an employee to path, means the way in the employment contract, this considered as linear pattern. That means the slowly, that means gradually approaching authoritative position, hierarchy position, next level, that is linear pattern. Whereas the study pattern, here skills may be updated, but they should not want more higher position. Position is same as, but skills are updated, knowledge is updated, so that the reason these people valued, these people considered as key factors, because these people may not getting ready for more responsibility, because if C4 employees how much responsibility have on their shoulders, the responsibility is more in the C3 category. Likewise, C1 category responsibilities are much more when compared to the rest of the lower level categories. So the reason these people may not be encouraging, may not be motivating much more responsibilities. So that, but however, these people needed more salary, more benefits, but not enjoying the position. So that the position is same, the consideration is high, that is study pattern. Certain category people are recognizing such kind of pattern, not everybody, certain, there are certain. And then transition pattern. Earlier, the person working as a C4 employee in X organization, but irrespective of X organization, the same person maybe go for C3 position in Y organization. Both X, both Y, not at all similar organizations. At any point of time, at any circumstances, the transitory patterns liking people may be surviving at any cost. That's it. There is no particular reason. For example, I am working as assistant professor. My totally consideration is to becoming as a professor or else a principal. But here I am working as an assistant professor. In one particular point, I go for the market leader in the so and so product consideration. By experience, totally may or may not be considered properly. Such kind of interchanging of responsibilities or interchanging changes requirements considered under transitionary patterns. Whereas spiral pattern, from any person, from anywhere to any organization at anywhere, but the position is definitely little bit more, because here these people are entertaining only hard work and honesty. They are best exempted behavior to strive more and more hard work. These are the different considerations. Whereas the next one also we could observe in the many organization, which is encouraging by most of the people. Here also the name itself it indicates plateau pattern. Plateau pattern means position not increased, but they feel in the position of high level due to experience or due to knowledge point of view, due to confidential matters of balance. Such kind of patterns also considered. These are the key role persons in the organizations, but position is not enhanced. These are the different patterns which are encouraging, which are motivating, which are recognizing from employee's perspective based upon the driver perspective. And coming to Sheen perspective, vertical pattern similar to the linear pattern, from one position to next hierarchy level, that hierarchy level to the next more hierarchy level, vertical pattern recognized. Whereas circumferential pattern means the same position, but organization is also same for one department to another department. If organization has n number of departments, the position C42 in the other department C3, and then shifted to other department like C, but position is C2. Like every time, with the help of the shifting, with the help of the transfers, he achieves little bit good career, little bit promoted, but may not be the equal department. If I am working for quality assurance department, I go for the better post in similar organization, but department may be research and development. In certain cases, quality control department. There are n number of departments are there which are similar, which are may not be similar, but organizations are similar. So likewise, this consideration is called as circumferences. Most of the chemical laboratories experts looking for only R&D jobs, but it is very difficult to recruiting initially R&D. First they go for quality control, then they go for quality assurance. After getting some sort of experience in here these departments, then these people maybe have chance of shifting to R&D department. Like that consideration is called as circumference. Maybe the next one is radical. The same organization, but the movement of changes towards the core concept. I am working as a marketing agent in the bank, but the bank concept is maybe the core activity is the financial issues. Slowly I getting an opportunity slowly towards the core activity of my bank. That point of pattern, that point of motivation towards that pattern is radical. Radical means the major core concept. Initially we may not get an opportunity of working as a core professional, but later on by getting little bit experience we just moving towards the core. So these are the different patterns. Why these patterns are encouraging by HRD means people are dissatisfied. But as far as HRD concerns, we just observing a keynote here. Career path is designed by HR manager, no doubt. Career path is expressed or expected by human resources, no doubt. But if possibly the career may be enhancing. If not, there is no compulsory by any organizations. Remember, career path is by chance but not compulsory, because certain organizations encouraging first level, second level, third level, fourth level. Fourth level may be class 1, first level may be class 4. This organization consisting, the organizational structure is like this, so that in such an organization the employee whoever working maybe have a chance to approaching from here to here. There is another organization which has n number of positions, but only the similar category, there is no possibility of other category. In such a situation, the employees may not be having a chance of approaching one level to another level. So that career perspective or career path perspective or career path patterns may be exercising but not compulsory. But however, changes may be happen because of come out the employees from feeling frustration. Okay, this is the core concept of career path planning. Then we go for the next concept of career path planning. Okay, now under the career path planning, now we are moving on to the career anchors. Okay, career anchor means before career anchor, let us discuss anchor. Anchors mean a strict adherence. A strict adherence, that means stick on to a particular position or stick on to a particular career pattern. Because of that position adherence, career anchors are more entertaining. With respect of employees' career anchors, the HRD improving the plans or releasing the plans, because whatever the plan proposed by HRD should be accepted by the employees. If one thing is proposed by the HRD, the expectations are in another way, there the training and development could not be matched with each other. So that based upon the expectations, the expectation here is career anchor. For example, I am working as an assistant professor. My sincere goal is after a stipulated period of time, I should be promoted as associate. Then after a stipulated period, I should go for professor, then rector, then chancellor. Like that, my career is maybe vertically, my career is maybe hierarchically. I should sincerely adhere. Wherever I was, maybe institution may be changed, but the position hierarchy I should not deviate it, because my total goal is to become as a principal or rector. So slowly I am moving on to with n number of organizations, my journey is towards my destination. So if such kind of attitude in the minds of the employees, based upon that employee attitude, the HRD people, the HR professionals framing the plannings of career path. So career anchors is the encouraging, career anchors may be exercising, may be encouraging because of these many competencies. The first, technical competence. As far as technical means, the core activity of an organization. For example, these people, if those people have technical competencies, based upon the technical competency, these people may be attitude of like this. For example, these people are lovers of work. For example, if myself treated as an assistant professor, let us imagine I may be a lover of teaching. Okay, towards teaching, my passion, I am the passionate teacher, so that I stick on to this profession everywhere at any time, so that my competence here is technical issues. So the core concept here is delivering the lessons, delivering the knowledge to somebody else. Then, whereas managerial competence, my attitude towards the pattern of managerial orientation, I should not go for the work, but I should not managing the organization. That means this is the technical competence, like assistant professor, like associate professor, like professor. At anywhere these people disbursing the lessons only, the teaching only. But whereas if position towards the principal, this is a managerial position other than the technical competence, other than the core competence, because my orientation towards I should becoming as a manager to control somebody else, because the manager has more power. Here power is major consideration to pattern of my career, but whereas here the core deliberations of the lesson, because my passionate of teaching is my competence. Here certain people recognizing these competences, there are certain other people also there have a chance of looking for managerial competences. And then security, I should not bother about my stick on passion, I should not bother about the managerial position. Initially I stick on security of my job. Security, as long as possible, job preference is my consideration, so that which position is more secure, which level of job is more secure, that level I struggle a lot for that security position. Maybe I am the contract basic employee in so and so organization, my security is very low. So my pattern is always towards my HR or towards my job is to becoming secure, to contract basic employee to the regular employee. So here there is no eagerness for becoming as a manager, there is no eagerness to becoming as a senior. Here the security is the perspective, so that for these kind of people, maybe these HR professionals framing the career path in such a way. And then creativity, these people are more talented persons, these people are more skilled persons. So skilled person never be calm, every time they are encouraging more and more risks, because they want to be highlight, they want to show themselves to the rest of the world, so that the competencies towards the creativity may be the career anchor in the career planning. So that based upon the creativity people, the creativity encouraging way, the path is encouraging by the HRD. And then autonomy, these people are requiring more freedom. Under pressure, these people may not be working properly, because they want to show themselves, they want to take free decision making, they want to not working as a subordinates. These people are very required autonomy. So that the reason earlier stages may be not that much of freedom, but later on stages may be having freedom. In such a way, because of the adherence of career, the planning should be encouraging. So these are the different parameters to be taken into consideration based upon the anchors, because the anchor here is expectation. If HRD people or HR professionals meet the requirements of anchors of an employee, then the expectations reaches, so that productivity encourages. If not, any one category may not reaches, such category is the only the reason for productivity discouragement. Okay, with this career anchors is over, and then we go for career path planning as a system. The name itself indicating preparation of a separate clear path towards the career with helping of a system. Whenever we consider a system is the interlinkation or the integration of n number of subsystems. Human being body is a system because there are different systems are working together to show the progress of the human being body. Like respiratory system is there, like blood circulation system is there, like urinary system is there. There are n number of systems coordinating together. The system is being progressed, so that this career planning path may be progressive way by these many specifications. First, define the career stages in organization first. Whoever adherence, whoever feeling of anger in the career, first whether the organization is encouraging different stages or not. As I told earlier, there are certain organizations which are considering only flat organizations. Flat organization means the head of the department is maybe CEO or MD, but the later on the next hierarchy is same hierarchy X, Y, Z, A, B, C, like that. There is no much more hierarchy levels, there is only one hierarchy level. In such a situation, if the employee is working in organization like this, these people may not have much more chances to becoming as a next level, to going as a next level. So the stages to be identified first. Based upon the stages, we should go for the anchor. If it is possible here, based upon our attitude, we should stay here. If not, we may be jump to somewhere else. Then identify the core jobs. If stages are there or stages are not there. So for example, if stages are there, in the stage, any stages which has close resemblance to our activity or not. I belongs to the profession of teaching, but my stages are not belonging to profession of teaching. Though the stages are available, but my future is not progressed. So that for core jobs to be identified, then once we identify the stages, then each stage we just go for the core jobs which related to our job specification, and then spell out the criteria. If is our like-minded position is there, our like attitude position is there, our respective position is available, then we should have a complete idea to spell out what to do, when to do, how to do. If it is being involving my involvement with that particular job, what is my criteria to performing to extend my level. Once these parameters of analysis over, then immediately the employee switching into the placement, that means jumping into the next level based upon the evaluation of performance. From here we go for the next role, whereas the change happened from this role to this role. Why the person moving from there to here is because the internal psychology, the internal attitude towards positive on this role, towards recognizing this role. So because of this, at the earlier role may be frustrated, the next level may be wonder, but after a certain duration of time, the same role is also maybe giving frustration, so that from here also tentatively after a completion of a period of duration, from next level the employees will go for the next level. So they want to change, keep on because of productivity enhancement. The only reason is productivity. And last but not the least, we should go for discuss multiple careers in organization. Multiple career means the name itself indicates many. For example, at the time of independence or before globalization, every organization which we consider as a manufacturing, the main manufacturing motto is production. Irrespective of the qualification, irrespective of the length of the experience, everybody working together in the department of production. If production burden increased, the production activities are increased, then slowly the internal subsystems may be separated as operations. Initially, every employee, for example, 500 employees are working in the production, but the production is size is increased, the interlinked activities of production is increased, so that the similar task under the production may be separated as operation. Slowly the operation tasks are many more, so that around 500 members, 200 employees shifting as towards operation. Now 300 people are left for production, 200 people shifting to operation. From production itself, operation generated. Now in the after liberalization, after globalization, in the present world, production department is an equal competence to the operations department. This is a separate department which may not be expecting in the previous years, but this is a separate profession, this is a separate profession right now. And still, if you go for, if operations are more and more, the people are adding more and more here, then the subsystem which has the similar activities to be separated, like sales department. If sales department is more and more, then there is separate department to be identified, marketing department to be isolated from there. So one job initially splitting into n number of jobs. In the before 2000 in India, there is no meaning of software, but right now the software industry came from manufacturing only, came from the service industry only, but right now the software industry impacting more on Indian economy, because there are the different n number of positions, n number of specialized activities which have a career opportunities in organizations multiple. Initially, single person working together all the aspects, but later on a separate departments are happened. Production department, marketing department, finance department, personal department, operations department, food and beverages. These many departments, earlier only one department, but based upon the circumstances, based upon the size of the operations, based upon the requirement of the specialized skills, the careers are increasing, careers are separating. So this is the cause of multiple careers. If you see the private sector, one person may acting as n number of roles, otherwise there is no job security. Whereas in the public sector, the same person may be working for the same activity, which has more security, but in the private sector there is no more security, so that everybody looking for any other jobs. This is the criteria career plan in the organization. Planning is the managing activity based upon the expectations of the people, career is to be identified. This is the total concept of career path planning. Hope you could understood.